welcome to the Cocoon with Ms. Yara Kaleemah. I'm Yara Kaleemah, and we're in the Cocoon with Ms. LaVon, author of Sideline Hoe. Good evening and welcome to the show, LaVon.
Thank you for having me. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am just peachy.
That's great. Tell our viewers about yourself.
Well, I'm Levon. I'm from Chicago, 33. I work in the field of social services and I just love writing. I love to escape into another world sometimes.
I hear that people who write books have a lot of people living in their
Yeah.
heads.
Do you know?
Yeah, I think I know. Um,
Okay.
LaVon, are you a contracted author or independent?
Contracted.
How did
Contracted.
What company are you signed to, and how did you find your publishing home?
Well, I'm signed to Just Right Publications, and I was a huge fan of Sean Wright, who is obviously the publisher, and he's the author of A Gangster's Melody. And I love those books, and so I friend him on Facebook, this that, and the third, and when he decided that he was going to start the publishing company, I just submitted Girlfriends, my first novel, to him, and within a couple of days, it was a signed contract.
Have you always considered yourself an author?
Yes, I have been writing since I was a kid, so it's always been something that I knew I was going to do at some point. Should have been a long time ago, but everything happens in its own time.
Absolutely. How do you promote your work?
Well, obviously, I promote it through social media as well as word of mouth. Word of mouth has been by far the best promoter for me than anything. When somebody tells their friends or a family member, a coworker, something about, something they read that was good, they're gonna give it to them, or they're gonna buy it, or whatever the case may be. But word of mouth has been great for me.
How important to you are reviews?
Not important at all. And a lot of people may think otherwise. Like I said, it's the word of mouth thing. Like, as I'm looking at the sales on all three of my books, the first book didn't get so many reviews, but there are a lot of sales on it. Then the second book got a good amount of reviews, but that book also had great sales on it too. So I don't necessarily think that most people pay attention to the reviews, unless they're a diehard reader that's just all about that. But most people don't pay attention to that, from what I see.
I happen to agree with you on that because a lot of times readers they read the book but they don't know how to leave reviews, or they just don't
Mhm.
leave reviews because they don't want people's opinions to be mixed with theirs. So I agree with you in terms of that because I've seen that as well. How do you show appreciation to your followers?
I show appreciation by shouting them out. Actually, a couple of them I just actually put in my acknowledgments to my latest book and things like that. Like, I really go back and let people know that I hear what you're saying and I really appreciate the support. Oftentimes you get the support from people you don't know versus, family and friends and things like that. So I just give that little back that's given to me. I reach out to them personally and, thank them.
Do you participate a lot in Facebook groups? Did you know about them before you became an author?
No. Most of them I met in these groups. So, I have a few people that I knew previously that knew that this was a path that I was partaking in. But for the most part, these are people that I didn't meet until we met through Facebook, Instagram, things like that.
We're live in the Cocoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Here are some brief messages from our sponsors.
On the beat. On the beat.
What is your definition of a sideline hoe?
My definition of a sideline hoe. A sideline hoe. Well, I'm gonna drop the hoe. A sideline. People have their different words that they give them, hoes, pieces, and all of that. So to me, a person on the sideline is someone that is willing and knowingly is in a relationship with somebody that has a significant other for whatever reason that they do it. To me, that's a sideline.
Does this title also apply to men?
Yes. Listen, it's more men sidelines out here probably than women. Like the roles have been reversed. Yeah, it applies to them too.
So you heard it first in the Cocoon that men can be sideline hoes too. Yes.
They are.
Are any of these characters related to your own personal experiences?
You know what? Actually, yes. There's a little bit of me in the lead character, Cammy, as well as I think the supporting characters, Dion and Marvell. I think the two of them have little pieces of me also. So yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the Sideline Hoe series.
Okay, so basically, like I don't like series. Let me just throw that out there. I hate series, but I knew with such a title that this could be several different situations and not necessarily the same characters, because there's so many different dynamics to being a sideline hoe. So the first story is about Cammy and Dion. Cammy doesn't really need him, but she really wants him. Like, I mean, she just really wants to be with this man. And even though, he has who he has, that's not deterring her from being with him. So he is in a situation where he's been with his baby mother for all these years and high school sweethearts and the whole nine, but he loved her, but his heart is really with the other woman, and the only reason he don't want to leave her is because they have a child together. He grew up without a father, so he doesn't want his child to grow up the same way. So that's the main dynamic in that story, which had a very shocking twist at the end. So, because of the twist that was thrown in at the end of the book, part two is more so about Dion's quote unquote baby mother and another young lady that I introduced into the story. So, I only plan on doing 3 parts, so I can't do no more than 3. And the final installment that I'm working on now, it's just everything's going to be laid out, like it's going to intertwine in such a way that everybody's stuff is gonna fall out the closet. Let's just say. So, yeah.
Sounds juicy. So,
They a mess.
how does a woman identify that she is a sideline hoe? And what's the next step after she's identified that she's a sideline hoe?
Okay, so you know what? I had a conversation with a lady in a group because she told me that she would not buy the book because I was glorifying people being sideline hoes, which I'm not. I think that every person in one way or another, knowingly or unknowingly, has been a sideline at least once in their life. There are a lot of people that live in denial and act like the signs are not there that somebody else is a part of their relationship. But then, like I said, you have those that know, and it's cool with them. It's just something to do, I guess you would say. Everybody has their own different reason for being one or for doing it, but more so than not, it's at an all-time high, and people just need to be truthful. Like, I mean, it happens. I'm not glorifying it, but it does happen. You know, it's a real life situation.
Okay. As always, I'm excited to be in the cocoon. When we come back, we'll have a live excerpt reading from Sideline Hoe 2 by authoress Levon.
I'm a beat.
Good evening. You're now live in the cocoon with Ms. Yara Kaleemah. Joining us is Ms. Levon, author of the Sideline Hoe series. On this segment of the cocoon, she will be reading a live excerpt from the Sideline Hoe series. Are you ready to share your baby with us?
I am ready.
Go
So
ahead.
understand how people can put trust in a God they can't see. They waiting on him to come back, but my question is, what is he really coming back for? This world is a messed up place. People getting killed every day. Ain't no jobs out here. Folks is broken. Even more people are walking around half dead. I was one of those half dead folks. I didn't know why I was alive. My life hadn't been worth a damn since my parents were killed 4 years ago. I thought about these things as I sat on the couch watching some pulpit pimp prance across the screen of the TV. He was a pastor of a huge church somewhere out in Texas, I believe. I watched it every Sunday morning, hoping these fables I heard would ring true for me. When will the day come that I will feel God? When will the day be that he will set me free? Guess I'll just have to wait like the rest of these dumbass humans that believe some made up character will save us from all the madness. What just happened? Oh, don't you have something you need to be doing? Skittles asked, staggering into the house with two young boys who looked to be around my age. My wish for a day off went unanswered, like the rest of my prayers. Skittles was the him that raised me and ultimately taught me the whole game. Yep, that's right. I'm a 16-year-old whore. Shortly after my parents were murdered in our apartment, I was given to my uncle Skittles. He was my father's older brother, with no one, not even my sanctified maternal grandparents, would step up to the plate to take me in. Skittles did. I know it wasn't because he loved me, but for his own personal gain. Technically, Skittles wasn't a real live active pimp due to his drug addiction. He just used me as a way to get high. His bottom bitch Mona was the only hoe at the time, and she wasn't hardly pulling in any cash. I guess so, I replied, rolling my eyes as I stood up from the couch that I was sitting on. I was clad in a Hello Kitty pajama short set rather than my usual working girl attire, which consisted of some sort of revealing ensemble. At 16, I was just as tall as my mother. I have the same gray eyes, chocolate skin, long hair, and killer legs. Only difference between me and my mother was that I had large breasts and wide hips, thanks to the years of sexual abuse I endured, making me look much older than I actually was. I took note of the two young boys that came to the conclusion that they were some corner workers. Skittles must have traded me for some dope. I know you're wondering, what am I doing with Skittles? Like I said before, he owned me. Not only that, but where could I go if I left him? I didn't have any family. I had nowhere to go. I was stuck.
And that was from Sideline Hoe 2 by Miss Levon. Please go out in one click, one click, one click. After these
Yes.
short messages, we'll be back with a game. And here's some words from our sponsors.
I'm a beat.
Now we are going to play the game of the day, which is testing your industry IQ. Levon, you will have 30 seconds to answer these questions. If you don't know the answer, say pass.
Will do.
You ready?
Yeah.
What day was your novel Girlfriends released?
Girlfriends was released April 19th,
Name a
2004.
publish Name a publishing company owned by a woman.
Owned by a woman. Boss Lady Publications.
Who wrote the novel Animal?
Quan.
In what year was the novel Color Purple published?
Child pass.
Felicia Bradshaw is the editor-in-chief of what literary magazine?
Urban Grapevine.
In reference to Yara Kaleemah's company, SWAG stands for what? For what?
Pass.
Name an author whose name starts with M.
That starts with M. Are you kidding? Pass.
Name a book written by Ashley and Jaquavis.
Oh, Cartel.
Fill in the blank. Every blank needs a lady.
Every thug needs a lady.
Woo, woo.
My favorite.
And that was Testing Your IQ with Lavon Barber. That was fun.
What does SWAG stand for?
SWAG stands for Strong Women Achieving Greatness.
All right, I'll know next time. I like it.
You are funny. Okay. Tell us where we could find your books and where we could find you.
Well, all of my books are available on Amazon.com. You can find me on Facebook. My page is my name, Lavon. Well, actually, I changed my name. Sorry. It's author Lavon. Lavon is spelled LE''VONNE. I also have a Facebook author page, facebook.com/Lavon Writes. And you can find me on Twitter at Miss Vaughn. Actually, no, that's my Instagram. I'm sorry. My Twitter is Lavon Writes. So that's where they can find me.
And we can find the books on Amazon, correct?
Correct.
You could also find the links to Miss Lavon's book in the description section of this video. So please, one click, support one another. That's important. Lavon, I thank you so much for joining me in the Cocoon. We had a lot of fun tonight.
Yes, I had fun. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You're welcome. And this is the second episode of the Cocoon with Ms. Yara Kaleemah.
On the beat.
We love the support that you all show us. Thank you so much for viewing The Cocoon with Ms. Yara Kaleemah. Join us here next time as we interview another entrepreneur. Stay beautiful, stay blessed, and keep it flagalicious. Good night.